I'm VP of Business Development for a company named Game Insight. We're based out of Russia, and it's not working. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is a brief agenda, what I'm going to be talking about today. I also did not provide a lot of numbers on the slides, but I definitely welcome all your questions, and I will be happy to comment on any numbers which not disclose any sensitive areas of a business activity at Game Insight. So today we're going to cover, I'm going to give you a very brief, I promise very brief, couple sentence summary on who Game Insight is. I'm gonna try to tell you why scaling is important and why scaling is actually different from just growing your company. We're gonna cover a couple of key factors for scaling a company based on our experience, because of course I can speak only from Game Insight experience at this point. Our big dream, and we started this company, is always building $1 billion company, and I think this is a truth for most of developers, at least for those who want to be successful in this market. And that's sort of ultimate goal, even though with the recent valuations, of $100 billion and so on, the $1 billion company might seem like a little small dream to dream. And I'm gonna show you a really brief video on how we actually come up with scaling our company next and what's gonna be next for us in this year, and I hope for several next years. Not clicking. I don't know what's wrong, but anyways. So who we are. Game Insight is a 3 years old company. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No problem.
So Game Insight is a 3 years old company. We grew in 3 years from 5 people to 500 people. Mostly developers, even though our business team also growing really fast at this point. I think that our breakthrough story and success story was definitely on a Google Play. We were one of the first developers who actually developed strongly for Google Play. And we're also first developer globally who made over $1 million on one game in 1 month on Google Play. And that was taken into account was 2 years ago when Google Play and Android was not really popular thing as it is right now. We develop social and mobile games. Primarily at this point for Google Play and for iOS, but we also develop for Facebook as well as several other social networks globally. For example, Yahoo Mobage. The previous speaker, Q, actually told you about Asian markets, and I've been talking about Asian markets for probably last year, and I really, really encourage you to enter those markets, because one of our titles, Mystery Manor, is #1 title on Yahoo Mobage right now, and it actually generates 3 times more revenue as it is on Facebook these days. Like I said, we're a Russian company, even though when we started our business, we were doing business everywhere outside of Russia, and very small percentage of our business was in Russia. Now the picture a little bit changing because Russia is growing really fast and really big, and there is going to be a lot of revenues coming within the next 5 years. Interesting fact about our company is we used to be 5 women, top management in the company. Now we have 1 guy, but audience finds that fact quite interesting. Our company is structured, I would say, very unusual way. We have 15 studios right now. The number is changing, plus, minus a couple of studios every year, pretty much, but it's structured exactly in a studio's way, and we kind of the majority shareholders in the company. But the company, this is a motivation point for actually small developers, because they own the part of the company, which motivates them to produce a great, extraordinary content. And like I said, our big dream is to build $1 billion company at this time. Why scaling is important? For us, scaling, it's not just growing a company, it's actually a big difference. Growing a company is pretty much when you add additional operational cost to your budget, the revenue grows pretty much in the same rate. That's not scaling your company, that's actually growing your company. Scaling your company means when you add additional costs to your operational budget, operating cost, your revenue actually growing on a several higher than it's actually the addition on operational cost. We managed to do that, and that's one of the keys of our secrets to success right now. For us, and I hope for you guys, if you're developers, in the end of the day, it's all about money. That's why scaling is important. For us, it's all about the billion-dollar company, of course, about our dream. And basically, which brings us to the first point, it's all about money. That's why you need to scale. Because at some point, probably on average, after a year of your operating and business activity, if you're not scaling your company, the point when you break even on your business, then you're going to be losing. Because every additional game you actually develop and add to a portfolio, every additional platform, every additional app store, every additional country, staff, and so on, as you need to bring, that's going to be actually losing, not adding the revenue to your company. And like I said, that brings me to a point when it's too expensive, especially into this industry when everything moves so fast. I'm pretty sure you know that revenue stream right now coming kind of a little bit tight, especially taking into account that there is only two major players in the market, which is Google and Apple at this time. I get to that a little bit later, but we've seen a really big increase in kind of explosion on a Windows. Don't laugh, but I think that we should not be crossing out Microsoft at this point with his mobile devices. And the one number I'll give you, which means that it's too expensive not to be scaling into this business, means that even 3 years ago, let's say in Russia or in CIS region, you could invest about $5,000-10,000 in development on a really good content type of, at that point, sort of like Paradise Island type content, I would say. That's not how much we spend, but sort of like on a comparison. At this point, to develop something like Paradise Island would cost you over $100,000. That's how much and how fast this industry moves, and that's how expensive it is not to scale. And also, scaling means that you need to attract and retain key people in the industry, because only those people, only that talent will be able to generate your revenue, because it's all about money. And people, it's a psychological thing. They love to be in a star company. They love to go out and say, hey, I'm working for Game Inside or working for any other star company. I don't know if you guys ever been a couple years ago to San Francisco, and if you ever worked by Zynga office at that time. Those people had completely different image on their faces when they're walking out of the Zynga's door, because they love to belong to a star company. Now, that's probably not the story, but still, people always love to belong to a star company, and you need to be able to attract and retain those people. Okay. I'm sorry, I need to do it like back and forth because there's something wrong with the remote. Key factors. Key factors for Game Inside, it always used to be, and it is kind of true at this point as well, is you need to think outside of your comfort zone. For example, if you're professional in city builders or in any other sort of theme of your games, go and develop hidden object game. Think outside of your comfort zone. Because hidden object games, for example, at this time, that's the genre that actually generates money on pretty much any app store in any country on any language in this time. That's what I mean when I'm saying that you need to think outside of your comfort zone. Second, reinvest as much as possible of your revenue or any capital you raised. But the suggestion from me would be do not raise any capital till last minute. Because when you actually produce and create a great title and you release it and you make money, the people who actually will be able to invest in you, you will get the best possible conditions in terms. and you will be able to negotiate in comparing to the terms when you get the seed funding right away, and then there is pretty much no way to negotiate your deal into it. I already said that people are important, especially people that start in this industry. Not necessarily people, with a 10, 15, 20 years of experience, but people who actually grown up and not, keep your company young and, average age is like, I don't know, like under 20 or something. But it needs to be people who actually grown up, who has the same vision with you, and people who understands where the company is going and can give you the same perspective as you think, let's say, in 5 years run. Content is important because content is the key. For us, we never stop the development. It's a constant development company. In 3 years, we developed over 30 unique titles for social networks as well as for mobile. That's why the companies, a lot of companies right now has a really big shortage of content. And because of the speed of this industry, you need to feed your users with a new content permanently. It's not enough to launch one game and then sit and wait for a year and kind of grab the revenues. You need to create your own network of users within your titles, because those users are gonna be your loyal audience. And if you feed them with a great content, you will be able to retain them. And retention in this industry is a lot. And then, again, you can save, like on a, let's say, user acquisition cost by cross-promoting within your titles, which brings us to a point that that's already a little detail on a scale in your business as well. Then, if you dream big, you need to develop your own strategy, how build a billion-dollar company. For us, number one point at this time and always been, we need to keep our, public face, I would say, on a very high level. Because for us, first, we're a company from Russia, and we've been dealing with that for a long time. I'm pretty sure there is I can see some faces from Russia or CIS region, like developers. They can tell you that there is definitely some stigma which kind of, goes where all Russian developers go. And there is definitely going to be some problems with investors if you want to raise the capital, because that's going to be the number one question for you. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people here has been doing business in Russia as well. I don't know, like publishing, developing, wherever it is. There is a stigma on, of Russian market as well as the Chinese market. Russia and China at this time are two most difficult markets to enter and two most difficult markets to work in, but it's definitely worth it in terms of money. So, that's just several points on what I've been talking about, the comfort zone. And this is the example how we've done it. So first, we knew about industry trends. And like I said, we were one of the first who entered Android development. Right now, for the next year, we're looking and actually daring to develop on HTML5. Not just develop on HTML5, but actually bring it to a point where it works. We're also looking into smart TV. We're also looking in the social networks beyond Facebook at this time. We love Facebook, don't get me wrong, but with the success of, for example, of Mystery Manor on a Yahoo Mobile, hell yes, I'm looking into different platforms. We just released on a Tencent, which was a pain, in very known place, but I hope it's worth it, because there is for taking 500 million users on a Tencent right now, and the network is growing fast. So the monetization might be low, but there is a lot of people who's actually using Tencent at this time. For us, it's always about more languages, because approach we have, it's think global, act local. Even though we're a global company, we're actually trying to pay very specific and close attention to every single country we go to. So, for example, if you take a look at Mystery Manor in Japan, it's going to be completely different picture of a game than, let's say, on a VK.com or even on Facebook. More countries for us in this year, it's definitely Japan, strengthening our position. It's definitely Korea and China. The same, we strengthen our position in those countries. Brazil, the same, Turkey, India, and Russia, more attention to Russia. We have a big success in Russia at this time, but we're actually going to strengthen, and try to become #1 in Russia as well. More content, faster, better, diverse, which means we're actually also looking for a third-party titles right now for publishing. And more daring ideas, cross-platform MMORPG, which we're actually going to announce at GDC in San Francisco. The game which is going to work on iPad, Android, and Facebook at the same time. Capital, like I said. You need capital to scale your business. So you need to reinvest revenue. You need to find your operational leverage, which I said, when you add additional title, it should not be grown at the same rate as the revenue. You need to get funding to jump. I would say the perfect timing to get funding after 3 years, you get your company run. You need a strategy to become a $1 billion company. People, I already talked about it as well. Don't be greedy. Give them money. Give the key people as much money as they want. Do not bargain with them. Because if you give them money, the people can be efficient only if they're happy. And if you compensate them at the levels they ask you for, your company is definitely going to benefit from it. Grow team fast. We have 500 people right now, but it's not enough. We're always hiring like crazy, and we're already kind of falling behind because at this point we need at least 300 more people, and we have only 500 because we're hiring, like I said, every day, and we cannot hire as much people as we want to because there is not enough time even to interview them. Listen to your team. Don't think that you're a superstar. Listen to your team because I don't remember who said, but listening is more important than actually talking. And you can, heard something very interesting. And expand to other countries. We're expanding right now.
Introducing Narrate. Beyond novels, beyond comics. An entirely new way to experience dynamic and engrossing stories for free. Stories that cross the boundaries of imagination into every possible genre. Unique layouts, animations, and visual effects in regularly updated episodes. Fantasy, sci-fi, horror, motion comics, non-fiction, and it's only going to get more diverse. Each series is its own amazing world, a bottomless treasure trove of story, characters, and art. Narrate, where stories come alive and never end.
That's how we scale our business. So we're a gaming company, but we come up with a platform which is entertaining platform, which gonna include gaming itself as well. And that's how we're gonna grow our business for the next, I would say, probably 3-5 years, because the diverse content you need to feed your users is very important for us as well. And I'm sorry, that's kind of. And this is a Dragon Eternity, which is MMORPG game, cross-platform. We're gonna announce, it's been in a beta for quite some time, but we finally polished it, and it's actually gonna be a huge title. So come join us in seeing it. So this is pretty much what's for us next. If you want to know a little bit more, you can always come and talk to me about, there is a definitely new types of deals coming into gaming industry. So it's not just, releasing and publishing your games. Pretty much there is a lot of more interesting going on right now. I wish I could tell you more on that, but I'm actually running out of time, unfortunately. Find alternative platforms, like I said, go to Japan, go to China, go to Asia, go to Brazil, go to India. India probably not gonna generate a lot of revenue to you right away, but it's definitely the market worth going and kind of grab your market share at this time. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. So let's try and sneak in just one quick question while Richard sets up. So has anyone got that one question? I have if you don't. No? Okay, so the one thing I want to know is, you're talking, Darya, you're talking about growing from scale. I mean, one of the biggest challenges I think companies have is when you have a startup, you've got, you don't have the infrastructure or the mechanisms to manage large teams. And as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you've got to put those mechanisms in. But the very nature of putting those mechanisms in also slows up the way that your thinking works quite often. How do you stop that that inertia setting in as you grow and scale a company? Oh. Cool. We've got a microphone coming to you. Yeah, it's
we are recording.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So my answer was you don't, because you grow big, you slow down, and you just move slower. But the thing is that as you add, for example, more teams and more people, you just, kind of give them the priority tasks, and you prioritize. That's the answer. But there is no way you can speed it up, the processes, as you're growing big.
And I think that's an interesting insight, to stop necessarily worrying about trying to keep the same culture, but realizing the culture will evolve and adapting to that.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.